All right, everybody. This this podcast is after a loss, but I'm going to say this: I am not demoralized from that loss at all. Like I am not sad. I am not bummed out. I'm. I mean, it does sting a little bit, but like we hung with a Super Bowl caliber football team for the whole game, really. I mean, we started out great. First play, pick six. But our weakness was we couldn't get any pressure. But the best thing about that game was every time the 49ers scored, we scored. And it was it was a beautiful game. I watched the whole thing with my dad. It was so awesome. I loved the play of the play to Luther. That was a huge touchdown. It was a beautiful throw. I love just about every pass that Caleb threw that he completed. And honestly, aside from maybe like four pass plays, he didn't have many ugly passes, in my personal opinion. The like couple that I could remember were um, Duvernay was wide open for one, and honestly, that would have been a touchdown if uh, if it was completed because he had no one by him. And then there was another one that was intended for Colston Loveland, but but Caleb threw it out of bounds or too
over his head. Is
over
the
his
first
head.
the first one you're talking about? Is that the one where he kind of like underthrew it, like he just couldn't get it to him with the two guys in his
yes.
face? See, I just like don't even like if somebody can show me a video of another NFL quarterback making that throw, so be it. But I just don't think that's as like easy of a throw to make as even the announcers were making it out to be. Like they were talking about it as if it was such a miss. He couldn't really get any more on that throw because he's got two guys right in his face. He got hit a split second afterwards. So I don't even
Yeah.
think that's that bad of a throw. The Loveland one
No, it's not.
was, but like my dad and I were talking about it this morning. I just don't think that's a throw that a lot of people can even make.
That's fair.
Unless like you're like 6'6".
Yeah, or just like you just have to have a little bit more room. Like Caleb had to short arm it because of where the
Yeah.
guys were. If
Yeah.
Caleb's got one of the strongest arms in the NFL, if he can't get it there because of like lack of and he can throw off platform. So I just don't think that's on him. But
The
anyways,
only the only bad throw was the Loveland one that went out of bounds that he
yeah,
overthrew.
That one hurt because that would have been a big play if it was completed. And also, I will say this: um, Loveland did drop his first pass yesterday, so that kind of stung. Now, let me clarify here. That doesn't mean that he's caught every ball that's been thrown his way, but what I mean by that is every ball that has been catchable, Colston Loveland has caught. Last night was the uh, bearer of bad news. I guess he and it. I have to say it was a very simple pitch and catch, but that maybe he was too focused on getting upfield and running with the ball before securing the catch, which a lot of receivers tend to do. So it's sad, but it's okay. Colston and Luther had great games, and it's awesome to see that. I think the tandem of uh, uh, Caleb Williams, Luther Burden, Colston Loveland, and Roma Dunze are going to be huge in the future. And I do think that um, DJ Moore is going to be here next year, I just think that he might need to understand that he might be the guy that gets around 750 yards now because of the fact that there's so many mouths to feed. But what are your guys' thoughts from this game last night? I mean, it was probably one of the best Sunday night football games I've seen. I mean, there was 80 points scored. Not as quite as high scoring as the Rams and Chiefs from 2018, but it was some. I mean, it felt like the team. It felt like every time each team got the ball, they just scored. It didn't matter what the score was; they were going to score. So, Jack, why don't you go first, and then I'll go to Michael.
Yeah, obviously a great game to show that our offense is capable of putting up points like that. San Francisco's defense isn't great. They're banged up. Like we had talked about that going in. So that is definitely something to like note there. But as far as the negatives go from this game, just because I think we have to mention it because we did lose, and I feel like we did a really good job of highlighting all the positive stuff. Nashawn Wright, and we talked about this right before starting to record, like Swiss cheese playing cornerback.
Very true.
And there has been times where he's given up some big chunk plays this year, but he always seems to come up, make up for it with a turnover. And he just didn't have one of those this game and had a lot of chunk plays pretty frequently. So that was one thing that, combined with the fact that we had no pass rush the entire night, just really got amplified. And
that needs to be fixed this offseason.
Kyle Shanahan, as we know, is such a great offensive mind that he can scheme guys open and make that very, very clear. So the other thing I took away from the game at the end of it, the only reason I was kind of annoyed is just the utilization of timeouts at the end. It wasn't Thanksgiving versus the Lions last year bad with Eberflus. But just like in hindsight, I think that we should have probably called that timeout after Luther got the first down on 3rd and 10. Just everything after that felt very rushed, and we didn't get to the line with nearly enough time to call plays on the second down or the third down right after it, and then the fourth or the second down at the goal line. So I just thought that could have been handled a little bit better, but it's good to have it happen before the playoffs so they can have a learning experience and rectify that if we're in a late game situation again.
Yes, but Jack, you actually bring up a very good point with the timeouts. I will say this. I really kind of do wish that we had one remaining, like, after the hook and ladder play, so we could have at least gotten at least 2 plays out of that's the end there, because really Caleb almost had his 7th comeback. Almost. He just didn't get his feet set and couldn't put enough on his last throw. But I mean, people were talking about this on like football shows this morning. How crazy it would have been if Nishan, or not Nishan, Jay Walker was the one that basically got us either the game tying touchdown or game winning touchdown, because I guess 2 weeks ago now, because of the fact that yesterday was the Bears game. Ja'Day Walker did get the touchdown in the 4th quarter to bring it into overtime. So I would have liked to use the timeout, the play before that, to get a chance to do at least 2 plays. But what about you, Michael? What are your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I mean, offense played good. Like, yeah, they stopped. I had a feeling we lost that game after we kicked the field goal because
I agree
we
with
were
you.
not stopping them. Our defense, no pass rush whatsoever. Obviously, you're not going to stop McCaffrey. We kind of said that in the pregame show anyways. We have to let Brock Purdy beat us. And he
beat
sure
us.
did. He sure did. It was, but then again, I'm not taking away from Brock Purdy. I think he's a good quarterback. Don't get me wrong. But when you have 15 seconds to throw the ball, you're going to find someone open.
No, yeah,
And
you're absolutely
that's
right.
what happened. And I'm going to go
That
back.
was with Trent Williams going down on the first play of the game, too.
Exactly. He probably would have had way more time if Trent Williams was still in there. But I'm going to go back on what we said last week, I think, with Max Crosby. Anything in your power. Go trade 3 first-round picks. Go trade 4. I don't care. We need a pass rusher. I will trade anything for that guy. Myles Garrett, Max Crosby, you give them a call and go get a guy. It is so annoying. But that's my take from that game is that we need pass rush, and we're playing to win now because we have a coach right now. We have Caleb in his rookie deal. We have Rome still in a rookie deal, Luther on a rookie deal. Really the only ones that you're paying are your O-line besides your tackles, and then you're paying DJ and
Montez and
you're paying defense a little bit, but go anything in your power. Those first round picks are going to be late first round picks. You really don't hit on those.
It's different than when we went out and got Mac too, because we've already seen 2 years of Caleb. We know he's good. We've seen Ben coach for a year. Like it's a little bit different of a spot than we were in making that trade going into the 2018 season.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I agree with you, fellas. But like when I was watching this, I also watched an analysis this morning before I woke up. And the guy that I was watching said that this was kind of like a boxing match because like just after one guy, after the 49ers scored, the Bears scored. So this kind of felt like if I had to put like an actual like match up of who it was, I would say like this would be like a matchup between Muhammad Ali and Mike Tyson, like and Ali just was the one that landed the last big blow, but I mean we're gonna be competing with teams in the playoffs. There's no doubt in my mind about that. So now with this loss, the Bears can't get the number 1 seed, but number 2 is very possible. And for everyone that is wondering, we can be either the 2 seed or the 3 seed, and I'd rather be the 2 seed because if if we're the 2 seed, we have to play the 7th seed, which is locked in as the Packers. And if we're the 3 seed, we either play the 6th seed, we play the 6th seed, which could end up being either the 49ers, the Rams, or
Seahawks.
the Seahawks.
And am I the only one crazy to say as I would rather the only team I don't want to play is the Rams? Like I would rather play the Seahawks and 49ers over the Packers again.
I don't know. I think my thought process is, and I think we're going to touch on this a little bit later when we talk about Caleb and his quest for 4,000. But if you're going to win, like if you're going to get to the ultimate goal and win a Super Bowl, you're going to have to beat these teams anyways. Like it doesn't really matter who you play. You got to go through either the team you don't want to play or a team who beat the team you don't want to play to actually get there. So the more and more we get closer to the playoffs, I really just care about health more than I do getting the 2 as opposed to the 3 seed. But
yeah.
Maybe my thought process changes on that depending on who gets the 6, but you're going to have to beat one of those NFC West teams eventually. So,
yeah, I'm going to say, I'm going to come out and say it like whoever has to play the Seahawks, if that's us, I still would probably give the edge to the Seahawks. I'm sorry.
I would too. I think that's the team that we match up the best with out of those 3.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
The team we match up the worst against, I think, is the Rams.
I agree.
No,
I think
I don't.
Rams and Niners this
I
year.
completely agree with you on that, Michael. Well, I completely agree with both of you. But like, I'm just trying to think. Like, I mean,
Because if you think about it, out of all the quarterbacks in the playoffs, we're not going to be able to play We're not going to be able to play Panthers or the Bucks. Let's be honest. So
Darnold just easy to blitz. Like,
exactly,
that's what loves to do.
out of all the quarterbacks remaining there, I would say the worst quarterback in that bunch. Yeah, obviously it's not showing this year because Sam Darnold's been good. Don't get me wrong, but I think he's the easiest one that you could get the worst out of him. Like he can easily throw for 3 picks.
Yeah, I mean, we saw the playoff game against the Rams last year. Like the Vikings were 14-3 on absolute fire, and they walked into there, got blitzed into oblivion by Jared Verse and that Rams defense, and he couldn't do anything. So I'm not saying I think it'd be like we walk in there or they walk into Chicago and we beat them by 30, but I think we could beat them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I think that's our easiest win personally.
all right. I mean, I'd rather be the number 2 seed and have 2 playoff or home playoff games, but if we're the number 3, we're still in the playoffs. So I'm happy.
Yeah, and you never know. You could get 2 home playoff games as the 3 if Philly, in this case, being the 2, loses to Green Bay.
Well, then, as much as I don't want this to happen, I want Jordan Love to play, and I want him to play like Rodgers. But again, if anyone asks me that, I will never admit that. But I mean, you guys kind of went into this. So do you want me to just go to the next topic, or do you want me to actually ask?
No, you're good.
All right. So Caleb Williams had if you take completion percentage out of it, because he was at 59.5 last night again, or around 59%. But if you take that out of it, he threw for 330 and 2 touchdowns. Now, it is weird every time that he gets to 300, he can't throw a third touchdown. But 330 puts him at 3,730 yards passing. Now, I think that the Bears will want to play for the 2 seed and starters will be playing, but I'm not the coach, and if he does value, knowing Ben Johnson, he probably does value health more. But I want him to get the passing record, and for people that don't know, the passing record is 3,838 passing yards. So he is 108 passing yards away from 109 passing yards from breaking the Chicago Bears all-time passing record. And that's held by Eric Kramer, I think.
Yeah.
But if Ben Johnson does decide to start Bagent and rest the starters, the most important thing is that we're in the playoffs and not a record. I mean, if Caleb can't get it this year, 4,000 will happen next year. And what's another year of the no 4,000 yard passer list being full of just the Bears? We're the last team in the history of football with no 4,000 yard passer. Every other 31 NFL franchise has had one. So one more year isn't that bad. But I mean, what do you guys think? I mean, you told me beforehand, but what are your guys' thoughts? Are we gonna see 4,000 or not? Michael, you go first, and then I'll go to Jack.
No, we're not going to see 4,000. I just think health and not having Caleb take any hits against the Lions. And honestly, I don't even think the Lions will really play their starters either. Like no one's going for an award. Like Goff's not going for an MVP, so it's like, are they really going to fight for anything anyways? We might get the win even with Bajan in there. So it's like you don't risk the health of your players. You don't risk Luther going down again because he went down at the end there, but he's fine. Like you don't risk Rome, you don't risk DJ, you don't risk anyone on that team to get injured in this game because injuries happen, and this year is very weird with injuries. So that's the only reason why I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think he's going to get more than what he has now because I don't think he's playing. So
What about you, Jack?
Yeah, I think I agree with Michael on everything he said, and just like a couple more reasons why I agree with it. This is now back-to-back years. Ben Johnson has been the offensive coordinator, head coach of the NFL's number one leading team in injuries. Last year it was the Lions, who are again number two this year, and now it's the Bears this year for just sheer number of injuries. We saw Noah Sewell get hurt out for the year last night. And
Yeah,
another
yes.
thing to consider is even if we were to win and get the 2 seed, the Packers are already locked into 7. They're going to be resting their guys this week, essentially coming off a bye. Like they can't move up, they can't move down. They're not going to play their starters this week. So they'll be coming off a bye essentially. And even if we do lose, it doesn't preclude us from getting the 2. We don't know what Philly's going to do still. Like we don't know how much they care about getting the 2 as opposed to the 3. Maybe they play their backups against the Commanders. So there's just a lot of stuff that goes into it. And at the end of the day, I think,
I'm sorry. Go ahead, finish, Jack. I'm sorry.
I just think we need to preserve health more than anything else.
If that happens, I understand. But also, Jack, one thing that you mentioned was the Eagles are playing the Commanders, right?
Mm-hmm.
I at least believe that their quarterback is going to be Josh Johnson.
Yeah.
And I don't think he even has a remote chance of beating the Eagles if they play all backups.
I mean, while crazier things have happened, Josh Johnson once played in an NFC Championship game like 4 years ago.
For what team?
He played for the Niners after Purdy got hurt towards UCL in the NFC Championship game in 22.
Okay, maybe it happens. So
I'm just saying, like you truly never know in the NFL. It's week 18. A lot of crazy stuff can happen. My main point is just health.
Hey, Bears like week 18, especially the Texans in week 18.
So I'm gonna pull up Caleb Williams' stats right now. In the likelihood that he actually gets set on next Sunday. So if he and the starters get set on Sunday, that would mean that Caleb Williams played in 16 games, completed 310 out of 535 passing attempts for 3,730 passing yards with 25 touchdowns to 6 interceptions. So in his career, he has a 45 to 12 touchdown interception ratio. That's almost a 4-to-1 touchdown interception ratio. That's pretty good. And also, he adds 4 touchdowns. 3 on the ground rushing, and then 1 receiving. So, and he adds 30 or 387 rushing yards to his 3,730 passing yards. So, Michael, you actually alluded to this in our pregame podcast. He did get 4,000 all-purpose, but he didn't get 4,000 yards passing. Now, unlike Michael and Jack, I could see a scenario where Ben Johnson does let the starters play, and maybe uh, he gets to 4,000 passing yards. I'm not necessarily saying that I'm holding my breath on it, but I still think there's like I want to do a realistic number here because I feel like I've done unrealistic numbers for when I've asked you guys if we can win or lose. I'll say like 15% of me thinks that he's gonna play, and 85% of me doesn't. Do you guys think that's a reasonable number?
Yeah, I think there's like a 5% chance he plays.
I'd say 15 is fair.
Yeah, 15 is very fair. But I'm like, I just don't want him to play. That's why.
I
But
get
then
that.
again, Ben Johnson probably wants to beat the crap out of Dan Campbell, so who knows?
Well, don't it in this situation, if one team is going to the playoffs and one team isn't, don't the two respected head coaches like have a phone call to decide who's gonna play and who's not gonna play, like in the preseason or something?
No.
No? Oh, I always thought that was something that happened. But why don't we get into our final topic here? And honestly, there's a couple guys that had very good games, but I want to highlight this guy specifically because he had a great game. So Luther Burden, he had 8 receptions on 9 targets for 138 receiving yards and a touchdown. And let me just say, the touchdown that he had was was a beautiful throw by Caleb. It was a flick of the wrist, seriously. But like seriously, there were every play that Burton got was like at least a first down gain. I don't think he had a catch under 10 yards.
Just that one, right after he had the first down, didn't he catch that next play for like 6 on the last drive?
Maybe.
It was either him or Zacchaeus.
No, it might have been
It
Jade.
was,
Zacchaeus was out.
No,
I think that was Luther, but yeah.
but point still stands.
I
It's
mean,
still meaningful.
and honestly, I was talking with my dad. He didn't believe me because I told him that that Luther had more receiving yards than Olamide Zacchaeus, and he actually didn't believe me. I so in his 14 games played, counting last night, uh, Luther Burden has played in 14 games, caught 44 of 56 passes for 617 yards and 2 touchdowns. Now, the 2 touchdowns is probably just the fact that, or probably just a side effect of being a rookie, but 617 yards in 14 games, that's a respectable number for a rookie. And I can't help but mention this. I mean, Luther Burden did kind of save me a little bit in my fantasy Super Bowl. I'm in my fantasy football Super Bowl in my dad's league, and I did have most of my lineup going last night in the Bears 49ers game. I had Christian McCaffrey, Kyle Monangai, Ja'Day Walker, and Luther Burden going during the Bears game, and they got me a combined 27 points. I was down 30-34, and now I'm up 57-34.
I've got so many questions based on what you just said. Number one, how many people are in this league that you're having to roster Ja'Day Walker on a team that's in the championship?
Well, let me give you context.
Yes, I need some context.
My receiver options, if I didn't play Ja'Day Walker, was TJ Hawkinson. So
But
that's
like, how many teams are in your league?
14.
Okay, so I guess that makes a little more sense. And then question number two, what in the world is your scoring system?
So 25 yards is a point. And then
Standard.
it's not PPR. So it's basically a touchdown league.
Yeah, I played standard. We still just did like same yardage ruling, just no points per reception. I've never seen it where it's 25 yards for a point. That's crazy.
Well, this league is I am the youngest person in this league. It's all my dad's friends, and I've been in it for I want to say I'm 22. I was probably 16 or 17 when I joined. But my first year, I played my dad in the Super Bowl, lost to my father, and then this is my second time in the Super Bowl, and I have a chance to win. And my opponent has the only person that he has left is Kirk Cousins against the Rams, and he'd need to score 24 points to win. And the scoring when it comes to touchdowns is always the same. 4 points for a quarterback is a touchdown pass. 6 points when you're a receiver or running back. But I don't think Kirk Cousins can score 24 points against the Rams. What do you guys think about that? Do you think
Yeah,
that's
I don't think I got Rams defense tonight. I need Rams defense to. I'm up by 8 in my championship. I've got Rams defense. He has Bijan full PPR, so not looking great.
Oh, that's a tough one.
I mean, maybe Bijan has a dud and Rams get like 2 defensive touchdowns. That's kind of what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
you're
Or you're looking for Bijan maybe to get like 15 and the Rams have to score 2 touchdowns.
Yeah,
It's a tough one.
it's
But
tough.
No, I don't think Kirk's gonna get 24 personally.
No, I don't think so. But what are your guys' thoughts on this this Luther Burden game? I thought it was great. I mean, I loved his involvement. But Jack, why don't you go first, and then we'll end on Michael.
Yeah, it feels like we've kind of had 3 different pockets of the season where all 3 of our receivers have looked like a number one. Rome was clearly the number one at the start of the season and started off super hot. And then after his foot injury, DJ really stepped into that role. Like 3 2-touchdown games was huge for us in the middle stretch of that season. And now that we're at the end of the season and Luther's had a full season of practice under him, Caleb has been working with him for the last 16 weeks. I think we could see Luther Burden become the wide receiver 1 going into the playoffs and coming into next year. Like, he has that talent. He dropped down draft boards like we've talked about a lot of times because of his senior year at Missouri, but he's a really talented player. So it was really fun to watch him have by far his best game as a pro last night, get those 9 targets, and hopefully this is just the start.
He honestly should have probably caught all his passes.
Yeah, he did drop that one, but it's hard to be mad at him when he was doing so much else during the game.
Yeah,
so.
I'm not mad. I'm just saying that he could have had 100% of his catches if he didn't, turn his head and look upfield before catching the ball.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. Receivers always do that, and that's their Achilles heel, because they're like, "Ooh, there's a lane to the end zone, and I'm gonna get a touchdown," and then they drop the easiest pass they could ever receive, and they look stupid for a minute. But what about you, Michael? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, good game, a great game from Luther. Don't get me wrong, but Swift had a great game.
And he's over 1,000 now.
He's
because
over
of that.
1,000.
Well over 1,000.
Yeah, no. You guys kind of hit it. Like Luther, I don't understand still why he fell on the draft boards. Like we clearly got a wide receiver 1 in him. Like we can have 3 wide receiver 1s on this team, and I mean, like Jack said, it showed. Like Rome was the wide receiver 1 for 5 weeks, and DJ kind of took that over, and now it's been Luther the last 2 games. So it's like this feels great. So just happy about that we got Luther. That's really it. And Monungai. I love Monungai.
Yeah, our rookie class started out real slow, but now looking at it after week 17, like all 4 of the guys we drafted on the offensive side of the ball are contributing in a major way and are some of our better pieces. So year 1 of, I'm going to say Ben Johnson drafting, because Poles has been here and he never drafted this well until Ben Johnson had a say in the picks. So year 1 of Ben Johnson having a very large input on offensive draft picks, and it looks real good.
And I'm gonna imagine that this upcoming draft is focused primarily on defense.
Yes.
Which honestly, we chose the right draft to need defensive help. There is leaps and bounds of defensive players that could help this team, whether that be safety, D-line specifically. I should have said that first, but there's some good safeties in this draft. I don't think that Caleb Downs is possible. If we're at 26 to 29, which I think is what we are in this vicinity of, I don't think that necessarily Caleb Downs is going to be a super high draft pick, but I imagine he goes late teens, early 20s, like right before us, which if we trade for Myles Garrett or Max Crosby, that's not possible anymore because they'll want this year's first round draft pick. But I'll say this though, if we're at like 29 and we get to the point where we're at like 25 at the draft and Caleb Downs is still available, that is a situation where I would consider trading up for a safety like that because he does look like a star-studded safety. But I would imagine that our first round draft pick is a defensive tackle or defensive lineman. And I think
Or traded. I hope it's traded. Yes. I hope it's traded, and I hope it's Max Crosby.
Well, he was back in the building today with the Raiders. So as upset as we thought he was, maybe he still is going to be a Raider. But that also probably is contingent on if Pete Carroll is staying. And I don't know if you can warrant another year for a 74-year-old coach. I know that he's won, but it's not looking pretty for him. But I think that's going to be it for us tonight. Anything else, fellas?
I don't think so.
No.
Yeah. So we will see you on Saturday because we do play on Sunday at 3:25 against the Lions, and we will give you updates on who's playing and who's not playing if we obtain that information through Twitter. So hope you guys have a good night and great rest of your week.